Good afternoon, everybody. This is Avery Palchikoff from Soccer Pacific Northwest. We are here in the studios today in Seattle, Washington, with a very special guest, Jan Skwara, Commissioner UPSL. Jan, could you tell us a little bit about the United Premier Soccer League?
No, good to be here, Avery. Thanks for having me. We've known each other for a little while, and we met through the UPSL. The UPSL is a national semi-pro pro development league, over 600 teams across the U.S., made up of a couple divisions: Premier Division, Division One, which includes promotion, relegation. We also have an academy tier, and then we also have a women's tier.
That's really cool to hear. So, what else makes the league unique?
And we play year-round. We have 2 seasons in a 12-month window, so our players are getting better each year because they're playing a lot of soccer. So we have a spring-summer championship, and we have a fall-winter championship. And our teams compete in the U.S. Open Cup annually. We have, I think, 5 teams now in the next round. We had over 55 teams in the U.S. Open Cup qualifiers. We're a direct member of the U.S. Soccer Federation. So, we're doing a lot of good things.
Well, you guys are certainly filling a large need in the U.S. soccer landscape. I imagine you see a lot of growth year to year, and how does that make you feel?
Um, you know, it's very gratifying to see the league continue to, footprint itself around the U.S. Our vision and our model has always been having teams with a geographical proximity to one another so that we can keep travel down, which keeps budgets down, keep our price point under control. I don't think we've budged on our season dues for 12 years. We've been at the same level, so we're affordable. We play a lot of soccer. We're year-round. And our teams compete in the U.S. Open Cup, which we melt into our regular league schedule. So we're doing a lot of good things for the U.S. For the players, for the coaches, for owners who want an opportunity to bring a team to the table and grow.
Yeah, most definitely. It's since we got started in 2021, um, running a club has been just so much fun. For me, it gave me somebody who loves soccer and wanted to be involved in soccer. It gave me a lot more of a purpose. Daily there were things to take care of.
Yeah, well, we appreciate your efforts, Avery. You put a good effort here in the Pacific Northwest to plant a seed for the UPSL, and that seed has grown. We have 10 teams that compete in the state of Oregon and 10 teams here in the state of Washington, and that's growing. So I think we're looking good for the future.
Yeah, man. I mean, in the beginning, we were 2 teams down in Portland, Rose City and St. John's, and then 4 teams up in Seattle, and it was a lot of travel. And that was about 6 seasons, that we went on that way with, especially the teams down there in Portland. We were making every 2 weeks, we were making that 3.5 hour trip up there, and sometimes on Sunday nights, right? We'd have a game, so we'd get up there, we'd play at 6 or 7 on a Sunday, and then we'd be back home 12, 1 in the morning, and we grinded that out for quite a few seasons, and that's some of the dirty behind the scenes stuff, but here we are in 2025 with 10 teams in Portland, 10 teams in Seattle, and our longest road trip is 45 minutes. So it's been big. Anyway, you're here in Seattle today. Up here in the Pacific Northwest. So what brought you into town?
Well, we had our first UPSL Pacific Northwest Summit meeting here in Bellevue, Washington, where we had all the teams come here and really kind of talk about the league, update all the members of our league, the state of the league, go over a lot of the operational and procedures that are involved in the season that's coming up. We're kicking off next week here in the Pacific Northwest, or I think it's next week or the following week. And so we want all the teams to make sure that they're up to speed on everything from, updated rules and regulations, minimum standard requirements that all members need to adhere to, and just a review of our direction, state of the league, what our focus is, our growth plans here in the Pacific Northwest. So it's a little bit of everything, and it's also important to meet face to face with our members, with our owners, with our GMs, because Zoom and phone can only go so far, and I think it's important that we take our relationships to the next level, and that's what this meeting's purpose.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's quite a step from those dial-in phone meetings, we started with. And I've been working with you for 4 or 5 years, but it's always been over the phone, Zoom, whatnot. So it's great to have you here in town, to meet you in person, and I think it's great for everybody to see their commissioner.
So switching gears here, tell me about a little bit about your personal soccer history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you start playing soccer? How did you get into the game?
Yeah, it's been a long run, and it doesn't seem to stop. I always think back at the Saturday Night Live skit with Garrett Morris, and he said, "Baseball been very, very good to me," and that's kind of soccer with me. Soccer's been very good to me, fortunately, and I feel blessed to be involved in the game, especially at the level that I'm in today. I started playing soccer when I was a young man in Southern California, AYSO, American Youth Soccer Organization. 10 years old,
yeah.
And soccer was just starting in the country at that time, and from there, club soccer also was developing in Southern California, but played on some very competitive clubs. Played on one in particular competitive club, Culver Palisades in Southern California, and we did very well, and that definitely opened some doors, led to high school, and then collegiate, a brief stint in college at Cal State LA,
okay.
And that opened a door for me on an opportunity in Germany, where I ended up playing in the German league back in the mid '80s. So that was really an eye opener, and I think that really was the catalyst for me in my endeavors in the game. When you're playing at that level, and you're in stadiums that are packed every weekend, and the culture is a different culture than here in the U.S. So it was really a 101 for me in my own way. It was an important tool that really gave me a set of glasses that I think has propelled my career in terms of what I can do for the sport, and then what we as a league can do for the sport. Lionel Lopez was the founder of the UPSL, and I met with Lionel back in 2011 or 13, and we started the league, and we had 5 teams, and we just saw that there were some gaps in comparison to what is in Europe and what is in the States, and so we tried to fill in those gaps, and here we are. So my career in soccer has been everything from youth to collegiate to professional, and I play in an over 50s league in Southern California, but at the age of 60, I think I'm going to be hanging my boots up soon. So, but I get to live vicariously through this league, and I work with a lot of players and coaches, and that's been very gratifying.
Yeah. No, it sounds like a great experience, the Germany trip, and seeing the soccer culture over there versus how the soccer culture would have been here in the 80s and even how it is now. Yeah, I can imagine that would have been something to really kind of inspire you.
An eye opener. I mean, you're talking different players, different level players, different mentality, and to this day, I always refer back to my experiences in Germany to keep me going, to keep me pushing, to helping push others, because I still see that there's a lot of room that we have in the States to take our game to the next level. And that's what I think that's our purpose here with the UPSL, is to push players and coaches and owners to the next level. And whether that's a spot in a college team or professional aspirations, I think we run a league that we put a lot of time into daily, weekly, monthly, annually, to make sure that we govern it properly, that all teams operate by the rules and the regulations. We're very strict with our disciplinary matters. We're very tight on verbal abuse, physical abuse, racism. We don't tolerate that. So we're here to do it right, and I think we've done it right with over 600 teams. We're the largest semi-pro league in the U.S. right now, and again, being a direct member of the U.S. Soccer Federation, it's great to work with the federation. I was just in Atlanta for the U.S. Soccer AGM, and really happy with what I see with U.S. Soccer there. We have new management at U.S. Soccer. Cindy Cohn and company, I think, are doing a pretty good job in moving the needle, and maybe a change in guard has taken place, and I think the ball is rolling.
Okay, yeah, I was unaware of that, but some changes in leadership at the top of U.S. Soccer would probably be a good thing. What are some, maybe just choose one or two, like, challenges while you were growing the league that you thought, like, okay, this is it, this is the end, maybe things aren't gonna, COVID is I'm gonna say, COVID has got to be one of them, but maybe tell me about, like, how COVID affected the league, or also maybe just tell me kind of something else another time.
Yeah. Well, when you ask me that question, I mean, any business is a challenge, and if business was easy, everybody would be doing it, right? Yeah. And so, even before COVID, I mean, that when COVID hit, we were already a national league, and we had already had that national footprint and had made some significant progress. I think it was the early years that you got to get through. Like any business, it's that first 3 to 5 years. If you can get through those first 3 to 5 years, I think one thing I'm proud of is, we've done business professionally, ethically, and honestly the whole way through. We've always treated our members with full respect. We've always looked out for our members and making sure that we're making the right decisions on everyone's behalf. I think we've always made the right decisions, and we've also made decisions rapidly in a good way. There's, you don't want to sit on things too long. At the same time, you don't want to make decisions too quickly. I think we've always been able to temper that. But to answer your question, I think the first 3 to 5 years, when you're starting with 6 teams in Southern California, and again today we're at 650, we had to go brick by brick. And we went from 10 teams to 25 to 40, and we realized we had a model that could potentially be replicated in other markets, and that's when we really started looking at this from a national level. But there's a lot of grinded out times, and that's where you have to be tough, and you have to sink in and dig in when revenue is limited, income is limited. You're only going to go so fast, even though you want to go faster. So you have to be patient. So if you kind of add that all up, the first 5 years we had to kind of work through all those scenarios, and I'm happy to say we didn't throw in the towel. So I think that's the difference. You can throw in the towel, or you could stick it out. And fortunately, Lionel Lopez and we stuck it out, and we've had some great partners and new investors come into the league. Graham Walsh, CEO of the league, made a significant investment in a controlling interest in the league in 2020, just right before COVID hit.
Yeah.
So talk about challenges and timing, and with Graham, he also brought Lewin Frazier into the picture, and Lewin's been our COO of the league for many years. Now for the last 5 years, he's been the COO. So I think we were able to, when you grind through the tough times and you get through that, there's a little bit of a reward. And the reward was working with some very talented people, seeing a cash infusion into the league to make it stronger. And, Christian Vallegos has been a great addition to the management team of the league. He was somebody I met over the phone, and 10 years later, he's still here, number one, but he really proved himself and is part of our board and part of the management team. We've expanded our management team, and I think today there's definitely the fruits of the labor are there. So I could peel the onion more for you, but I think that just grinding it out through the tough times and not giving up and believing in what you know. And I think we know the game of soccer very well. And this, again, Lionel is from Mexico, and that's his heritage. And I have European blood. So I think we've taken our background in the game and we've been able to apply it. We're very committed. We have a passion for the game. We love the game. But we're also business people, and you have to do business right. So fortunately, so far, you always want to knock on wood, everything's worked out. I think, we have higher aspirations, but, one day at a time.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
What's like a day in the life of Jan? Like, I don't know, take me through maybe an average day in the life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an executive for the league, so, I head to our office in Southern California in Orange County, and I spend a lot of time on my day is not that glamorous. It's a lot of phone work and a lot of emailing and problem solving.
Yeah.
So if you don't like to problem solve and you're not good at problem solving, this is probably not the right role for somebody. And I do like the challenge of addressing problems that come at us daily, working with people, and a lot of it for me personally is working with people. I like working with people, and I think that's been a big part of our success. Is that we do like to make sure that our communication is top notch, and that you won't have difficulty in getting an answer from the league or reaching anybody, whereas maybe in another league there may be that type of challenge.
Yeah, and I can speak to that because from the moment we first met, I don't think it's ever taken you more than 5 minutes usually to get back to me, whether it's a text or whether it's arranging a phone call. So that's definitely true. But I suppose how do you balance managing so many teams, kind of?
Yeah. Well, again, as we've grown, the bandwidth diminishes, and that's where we, as a league and a board, we make decisions to expand our reach and increase our bandwidth and hire on additional management to be able to handle that bandwidth. I always say it's not rocket science. I mean, we have the model has been for the UPSL. We've gone from market to market, and ultimately that has created a national league. And in each market, we have management that's managing those group of teams. And we look for, and we do demand and require that we have management in each market that executes, and they report up, like in any business. So it's really important that, the nice thing that I think our members wake up to every day is that they know that, not only can they call someone like me on a daily basis, but they can call their local, we call it local or regional manager, and we call it feet on the ground in that market, and connect and problem solve. Because at the end of the day, it's usually a problem solve or general informational type of question or issue that needs to be addressed. So that's kind of.
Yeah. Sometimes, though, hard decisions have to be made, right?
There's some tough decisions, and we feel for our members in some scenarios. This is a very difficult business. I've said it kiddingly that if you want to start a business, don't start up a soccer club. Go open up a hot dog stand. You'll generate revenue faster. But with that being said, and all kidding aside, I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunity owning and operating a club in the UPSL, and there's some very decent upside in that opportunity. I think that it's a case by case, and like in any business, this is a business that our members run when they're running their club, and if they run it sloppy and they don't pay attention to it and they don't address matters and they do things wrong, they're going to obviously have challenges. But if they do things right, not only can they be profitable, but they can enjoy doing something that they love. So that's where we try to get everybody is we there's some hard decisions that are made. A lot of times financial resources are limited for clubs at this level. We're talking essentially Division 4. Soccer in America has a let's call it a pyramid structure, MLS being on top, and now you have USL 1, and then you have USL in the second tier category, and then you have MLS next, third tier, and then you have NPSL and USL. Those are some competing leagues that are side by side, and so those are the parameters that we're dealing with daily.
Yeah. No. Anybody who knows the semi-pro soccer landscape in America knows it's a pretty fragmented kind of situation, but the UPSL has done a great job kind of giving some sense of cohesion to that landscape, even though it still is a very kind of Wild West landscape in a way. That's
a good way to describe it. It has been a bit of a Wild West, and there's a lot of competing leagues that are in today and they're gone tomorrow, and unfortunately those are some of the situations that we have to deal with. We have a new league coming in. They have no track record, but they have they're out on the street and they're competing for the same teams that are in our league or maybe in another league. And so there's a little bit of that on a daily basis, but at the end of the day, I can comfortably tell you that running a national league that's year-round, that is cost-effective, I'm very comfortable in saying I think that we're the best league in the market right now at what we do. And teams are going to look and search maybe for alternatives, and they could save themselves some time and money if they stay with us for the long term. Also, the grass is not always greener. I say we have teams that are in our league and maybe they don't see things eye to eye, and they go to another league, but they end up coming back because that other league was was really not what they expected. I always say that I always speak positively and have nothing negative to say about any competing leagues. I just will always say what I just told you, and that is, we run a tight ship and we're a good league, and I think we run the best operation at our level.
Okay. All right. This is kind of a more difficult question, and so I guess when we're talking about a competing league, it's maybe we're both thinking of the what's it called? It's just called the league, I believe, right? And or the league for clubs, and I believe it's kind of spearheaded by Tulsa Athletic, who I know were in the NPSL and in the UPSL. Mm-hmm. And I know that I think they felt hard done by the UPSL in a certain playoff scenario that you may be familiar with. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So do you know, is there any sort of context that you could give to that, or is that confidential?
Mm-hmm. No, I think that again, we have a new competing league that has aspirations. They have a vision, and I respect that. they want to go out and do something. It's a tough business, as they will find out. They're not really a competing league, though, frankly,
No.
because they're just spring, summer. I believe. I don't think they run a second season. So for me, that's a big difference, because when you're running a club, you need to play year-round. If you want to develop the next World Cup player, you need to be playing year-round. We keep things simple here. We have a spring, summer season, fall, winter, and so again, the competing, that was, the edge that we got many years back when we created the fall season. And so again, the league you just mentioned, I don't know their calendar exactly, but you're also dealing with some travel implications. Teams are going to have to travel farther because there's not as many teams. We have 650 teams. I don't know what number they're at, 40, 30, 45. I don't know what their number is, but that's a big gap or difference. There's a lot that goes with it. So I'll just say that there's a lot of work ahead for them, and we wish them the best, and we'll keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, well, I think there's an expression in Spanish that I'm just gonna say it in English, is that the sun rises for everyone, right? And so, like, me I on a local stage operate leagues and tournaments, and I always look to work with other league operators and tournament operators instead of competing against them. And I feel that sort of way of doing business ultimately is the best way. So I agree with you there. And then kind of switching things up a little bit, I guess my experience in the UPSL, so for you to hear as a commissioner, what, and you hear it from everyone, what their experiences are like, but it's real life, right? There's good things and there's bad things, like life, right? There's good moments, there's bad moments. There's moments where you feel like the league let me down, I feel hard done, but there's moments where you feel like, hey, I'm proud to be in this league, I represent this league, we're, playing at a higher level than, we used to be at, and you get a real sense of pride. And at the end of the day, like you said, through the good and the bad and the ugly, at the end of the day, I recognize that nobody's perfect and no organization is perfect, and with that being said, that my experience with the UPSL has been overall very positive. Even if there have been times where I've been upset about certain things, overall it's been extremely positive, and that's why I'm here today. I'm not even with the team anymore, right? But I'm still here trying to, because it's something that you believed in, well, and others believed in, and lots of people believe in, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a person, one more of those thousands of people out there who believe in this league.
And Avery, I value that personally. I think that's why, when you asked me to sit down with you and do an interview, I think it's important that we can share some of the experiences that we've had in the UPSL, because you are right, good, bad, or indifferent. You don't, just because something gets a little sticky doesn't mean you have to walk away. And I think that's, unfortunately, that's the world, sometimes people walk away, they think the grass is greener, and again, 95% of the time, if a team leaves our league, they end up coming back, because it's a tough business, and if you don't know what you're doing, and you don't have the resources and the backbone and the framework that we've built out, which has taken us 12 years, 12 years, and you can ask the USL that, you can ask the MLS that. They've worked very hard on their respective leagues, and there's a lot of backbone to those leagues. So, when you have a startup league, there's a lot of risk. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, there's a lot of risk. And I think that we're not really trying to I think right now, we're in a great spot. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just actually trying to fine-tune a machine that's working very good, and we're a very fair critic of ourselves, and we just want to be better every single day. And I think if we keep doing what we've been doing for the last 12 years, we're going to be that much better in the next 5 years. And we've expanded our reach into the academy side of the game. We launched UPSL Academy, so that we have a connection from youth to adult. And then we've also expanded on the women's side. The women's side of soccer. Women's soccer is exploding, period.
Yeah.
It's been exploding for a long time. We want to be involved in it now. We're ready. We have the resources. We have the manpower. We expanded our management team. Amir Mian is our national women's director. He's overseeing our launch of our women's league, which kicks off in May nationally. We are having our national finals at the facility in Kansas City. I'm just forgetting the name right now. We have a cash prize for our national champion on the women's side. On the academy side, we're in all major markets: Miami, New York, Los Angeles, and everything in between, Texas. We've hired a national academy director, Joe Janner. Joe's done a phenomenal job the last year, starting from basically scratch and building it out. And this is going to take time on the academy on the women's side, but I say give us about 5 years, and I think you'll see the UPSL put a mark on the women's and academy game, just like we have on the men's side.
Yeah, I think the academy part and the women's part are both very exciting, and it's something like where I've wanted to add an academy to my club or a women's side to my club, and I think there's a lot of others who think the same thing. You just need a few people to get together in a room and say we're all going to do it.
Yep.
And then the snowball rolls and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So
yep.
Speaking of, you mentioned the national tournament for women. You're here in Seattle today. What do you think about the men's national tournament, the Final Four, ever being hosted maybe here in Seattle? Is that something that we could see?
Oh, it's a possibility. It's something that could happen. I think the right things have to happen. Where we host our national Final Four, as far as a venue goes, is crucial. We demand a soccer-specific venue for our national Final Four. We are very happy in hosting right now our national finals in Southern California at Championship Stadium, which is a 5,000-seat soccer-specific stadium, etc.
Built a relationship with them.
Yeah, and we've already have plans to host our next set of finals back to back in Southern California. Weather, this, that. So there are some factors, but the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Portland, it's a very big and historic soccer market. The Sounders, the Timbers, you can go back to the 70s, right? NASL, Pele, Steve Hunt. Sounders played at the Kingdome. You got the Timbers, and it's just tremendous soccer history, rich history here. And so we want to be part of that history, the future, and we want to contribute to the future direction. And I think that, again, that's one of the reasons why I'm here in Seattle today is to continue to prod and work with identify the right people to work with in the market. And again, to answer your question, I think that it's an option, and we'll evaluate it one year at a time.
Okay. Yeah, I've noticed, and I don't know if this is like just a coincidence or if it's how you do it, but that the fall playoffs are usually on the West Coast, and then the spring playoffs are usually more on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just.
It's a weather factor,
Okay.
and it's also a venue factor. So, we don't want to be playing a national final in 110-degree heat in Dallas, Texas.
Gotcha.
So weather and facility, stadium availability, and cost.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have played in the final, like when it was in the Crew Stadium, for instance. It was in Pittsburgh at the Riverhound Stadium, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was another. I can't remember the name, but there was a nice stadium that you guys played at. It would be cool to see it here, but we'll wait and see. So I guess we're kind of winding down now. I know you got a tight schedule while you're up here. Let me close out with some sort of rapid fire, this or that kind of questions. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready for that?
Let's do it.
Okay. Real Madrid or Barcelona?
Barcelona.
AC Milan or Inter Milan? Or Juventus?
Juve.
Okay. I didn't know that you'd been in Germany, so I didn't. And there's not really the competition. Let's say, okay, Bayern or who's your favorite German team?
Bochum.
Okay, so I'll have to Google that later.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Manchester United or Manchester City?
Man U.
Okay. Is that your favorite team overall? Is that?
Yeah, I mean,
I can hear it in your voice.
In the '80s, yeah.
Okay.
You can't take anything. That's historic, right?
Who you think is the best retired coach?
Best retired coach. I mean, Ferguson.
Okay. Okay. I mean, it's hard to debate that one. What about who would you say are maybe the top 1, 2, or 3 active coaches right now? But don't give me like Pep Guardiola. Don't give me like the easy ones. Maybe somebody a little bit more.
Active, right?
Yeah, active.
Well, I'm going to stick my neck out and see what Arena can do in San Jose. I mean, the guy's a winner.
Did he get hired in San Jose?
Yeah, he's in San Jose right now, and
wow.
so I'm going to say that, if he can do well in San Jose, that he's a special coach because he just knows how to put the W's on the board. And because I live here in the States, I really don't get that much exposure to European soccer. I mean, because I'm in the trenches every day, working,
yeah.
and I don't get to see a Bundesliga match or a EPL match live on a Saturday afternoon. So, I'm going to stick with I like our U.S. national team coach that's come on in. I'm going to give him a shout out, hoping he does some good things. I think he's the right choice at this point. I think it's about as good of a choice as you could have, landed. That's, I'll stop there. I probably missing 1 or 2 that I'll think of on the plane ride back, but that's a running start.
Okay, Galaxy or LAFC?
Galaxy.
Chivas or Club America?
Club America.
Burrito, a hamburger, or pizza?
Hamburger.
Squid Games or Breaking Bad?
Neither.
Okay. A nice nutmeg or a hard tackle where you get the player, the ball, and a yellow card?
Both.
Okay. Well, that's not how this works, but I'll take it. Sounders or Timbers?
Sounders.
Oh, man.
I'm in Seattle.
Favorite sport other than soccer?
Running.
Okay, all right.
Running.
So you don't really you don't have any other team sports that you're even. Really
I was a big Laker fan in the '80s, but
Okay.
the '80s is the '80s, so I'm not so much a fan of the Lakers today than I was in the '80s.
Gotcha.
Now I was a huge Laker fan in the '80s.
Gotcha.
I was a big Dodger fan in the '80s.
Gotcha.
So sports changed, times have changed, and so I gravitate to maybe what works for me these days, and I don't. I'm not a huge basketball, football, baseball guy, but I like sports in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think the generation when you grow up, that's kind of for some reason that always seems like that's the best one. Whether it's for you the '80s, for me the '95 to '05. That was my. Okay, and I'm gonna finish with kind of a silly one here. In a soccer game of life or death, would you rather face 50 children that are 6 years old, or one 60-year-old but who is an ex-professional on a futsal court? If you win, you survive. If you lose, you die.
The 60-year-old.
You take your chances against the 160-year-old.
Oh yeah. I still got a little left.
Okay.
As long as my hip can hold up.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining me today, Jan.
Very
It was a
pleasure.
And I hope we can do this again.
We will. It's great seeing you and doing this. I think we've got a lot to do in the future.
All right, we'll have a great season. Hopefully we can do this again soon, but maybe down in LA. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. This is Soccer in the Pacific Northwest. I'm your host, Avery Palchikoff. I'll be doing some episodes here in Spanish too down the line, so stick around, subscribe. Thanks.